There are some lies in our science books. Taught it for 15 years. Even though I'm not teaching it anymore, I still like the study. It's so many neat things to learn. We're going to cover some of that tonight.
Perception is being managed. We are being steered and guided by a hidden hand.
The whole world has been duped by the media that is not real.
Smart thinking, possible time traveler, smart thinking.
That night, boom, contact memory.
And then just, Alex, if you don't agree, you'll be sent to a re-education camp.
Just because I'm old doesn't mean I've lost my touch with the ladies.
A lot of people here tonight felt like they lost. You know why?
Now, experts are suggesting that we're in a golden age of shape-shifting reptilian sightings. Now, why is that?
I was, and still am, a huge conspiracy guy. I literally ran out of new tin hat topics to research.
It was most definitely not capable of melting steel.
Then I would be a crackpot if I thought that was the case.
Welcome to the Hypothetical Institute, a podcast about conspiracies.
My name's Luke.
I'm Salty.
I'm Cam.
Cam, you sound flustered.
Yeah, what was that? You see your name and sighed. I'm Cam.
Oh, it's just been a bloody tough day, boys.
Well, I know what would cheer you up, and that's a little reminder that we have some awesome supporters that give us some awesome money, especially Tom, who gives us bloody $33.33 a month.
What a legend.
What an absolute legend.
Where would people do the same if they wanted to?
Oh, patreon.com/hypothepod.
But don't take Cam's fucking massive lack of enthusiasm as like any indication that it's not awesome there.
Yeah.
You get a bonus little news show every week.
Your badges.
Little badges and pins. We'll have to do another button club soon.
Yeah.
We've got another button we can get rolling. We just need a second one.
And the news content's some of the best content.
Yeah.
So many lols on that show. If you listen to this and you think, oh, I'm short maybe 2-3 lols,
yeah,
you're going to get that and more.
Yeah, you get at least 6 in the new show.
Yeah.
Quite a few lols. It's great.
All right. What are we going to talk about, Cam?
Today, we're going to be talking about the Black Knight satellite conspiracy theory.
Yep, good one.
And we're also going to be talking about Oumuamua just killed a man. Hey, I was just tricking. I am enthused about today's show. You bloody gooses. Hey, how are you, boys?
What was that? I wasn't prepared levels-wise for how...
For up camp.
Yeah, suddenly you just burst into level mode.
So we're talking about the Black Knight satellite and we're talking about... Is it...
Oumuamua?
Oumuamua. I saw a lot of pronunciations, to be honest.
Oumuamua sounds right because it's a Hawaiian word.
Yeah, Hawaiian. Yeah.
Which is an asteroid.
Yeah, not to be confused with Nuku. No, what is it? Humu Nuku Apua'a.
The banjo player.
The state fish of Hawaii.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to say not to be confused with the video game asteroids.
No.
I was like, I wasn't going to because those were just little circles.
Yeah.
This is a huge thing in space.
Before
beyond the stars.
Let's get into that after we talk about Black Knight satellite.
Let's talk about the Black Knight satellite.
Because I am really excited to talk about Oumuamua.
Right.
I would hope that you're also excited to talk about the Black Knight
satellite. Oh, a little bit.
I wish I'd learned how to play Black Knight on like something before we started so I could have bust out into it.
What is that song? Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know that song.
Deep Purple?
Yeah. I didn't know it was called Black Knight.
The Black Knight is a long way from home.
Is it about the satellite?
Actually, I don't know. It might be. I'll start Googling that. Let's get rolling.
What is the Black Knight? How do we want to...
It's some sort of object orbiting our small blue dot in space.
Mm-hmm.
NASA doesn't want you to know about it.
Why not?
Because everyone would get in a fuss.
It's Black Night, as in the nighttime, not like the Dark Night.
Yeah, not KN.
No.
the bloody Illuminati probably made them change the name.
Possibly. I'm still going to read the lyrics.
So it's some sort of object floating around the Earth. It's been there possibly for 13,000 years.
What was the... where's the historical evidence, or why do people think that?
Well, we don't... So it's something that came up, like, I guess in the early 20th century or the late 19th century is when it was first, like, noticed. Or no, that's not even... This is where... The idea that there might be something there, I think, is very, very, very recent. And then they've backdated it to all this other stuff.
So, like, every time there's a weird picture of a historical thing and there's a satellite in there, then they say, oh, that's... Or there's something that could be misconstrued as a satellite. They're like, oh, that's probably the Black Knight.
Yeah, because I think the actual picture only goes back to, like, 1998.
Yes. So the famous picture that kind of... if you look up Black Knight, you'll see a picture, and it's a pretty cool-looking thing.
Yeah, it looks like one of Batman's planes.
Yeah, it's just kind of hovering. Like, it looks to be hovering like an alien thing.
Yeah. Although that's... Anything that's not on the ground in a photograph looks like it's hovering.
Wow, not really.
Yeah,
yes,
really.
If you see a bird, I don't think look at it and go, "Oh, that's hovering."
If
you see a picture of a bird, do you think it's hovering?
If I saw a photo of one,
if you saw a photo, so if I showed you a photo of a bird, you'd be like, "Well, that bird's hovering, not flying."
No, I wouldn't think that. But you saw a picture of something that's in space where everything floats, and you thought, "Oh, that's hovering in a strange way." Unlike anything that was there would act the same way.
If I showed you, say, Oumuamua, the asteroid/comet, do you think that's hovering?
No, you're the one who said things were hovering.
I'm saying the Black Knight things looks like it's hovering.
But it's anything that you put there, whether it was a bird or anything, a small portable barbecue, such as you could have on an apartment building's bloody balcony, where the authorities wouldn't get too fussy about it. It's not a huge barbecue, because I can understand they'd send you like a letter about that. But you just had a small Weber.
Yeah. But
if you put that in space, it would be fine, but it would look like it was hovering.
So, okay. So, you know the movie The Arrival?
Sure.
And that big object that the aliens are in, their spaceship, it's hovering, right?
Over the Earth?
Yeah.
Yeah, but when it's in space, it's not hovering. It's just floating in space.
Okay, so you don't think the Black Knight satellite, which looks a lot like this, one of the photos... You don't think that looks like it's hovering, you think it looks like it's floating in space?
Yes.
Okay. What do you think, Sol? Do you think an apt decision is that it's hovering?
I would go to floating.
Okay. Damn it.
If it was like... Yeah, if it was sitting out there on the balcony...
Hovering.
Off the ground.
Yeah.
Hovering. In space, floating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think hovering is the way it looks in that photo is reminiscent of Arrival.
Well, if you drew a little bit of grass underneath it, I'd be like, oh, yep, that's definitely hovering.
Yeah.
Okay.
But it's in space. Where
I think its proximity to the ground is what makes the difference.
Okay. So, we've established that it's in space.
Yeah.
It's black.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, the Endeavour spaceship in 1998 took 5 photos of it. There's one in particular that does make it look like a spooky thing. The rest just kind of make it look like what it actually is.
Bit of junk.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a blanket.
Yeah, a thermal blanket.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
Politically, it's a blanket.
Because it's a blanket, because the reason they took a photo of it is they're like, oh, we lost our blanket.
Yeah.
Take a photo of that. It looks cool, though.
There's also actual footage from 2 different angles of the blanket, them losing the blanket. And I think you can hear audio of like, oh, yeah, you lost your blanket. But people are claiming that the Earth is being monitored for 13,000 years.
Yeah. So
and this is evidence of that.
This thing happens in 1998, but then they're like, all right, obviously this is not just a blanket. Let's see if we can link it back to previous stuff. So they do try and, like, throughout history, anytime there's like something in the Bible or something where someone mentions seeing something in the sky, they're like, that'd be the bloody the sky blanket. They also, Nikola Tesla talked about satellites. He reckoned I don't know, did he reckon this, or is this just something that's been put in his mouth?
He had an unusual response to a radio signal.
He sent out a radio signal while he was just mucking around with inventing radios.
Yeah.
And it come back to him, right?
Yeah.
Echoed back.
Yeah. Someone said something I saw said it came back and it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, like numbers.
Mm.
But I don't think that was, unless he broadcast numbers, I don't think that was what happened.
Yeah, don't know.
But it's a thing called a long delay echo, which that sometimes happens with radio waves, where you send it out and it bounces back off something, and they're not really sure. In many cases, what it's bouncing back off. So that happened to him. He's like, "What the hell?" He thought it was aliens, because he was famously an idiot.
Yeah,
not realizing that long delay echo existed. No, he thought it was aliens, and now it's being sort of retrofitted to be.
It would have been the bloody satellite.
He would have bounced some radio waves off a satellite.
Then was there something in the early 50s as well? Well,
there was Project Corona.
Yeah, so that was the actual thing, but something got reported pre that where everyone was like, "Oh shit, there's something rotating around the Earth," and we hadn't invented satellites yet.
Okay, I think that's what the government said. Yeah, that was Project Corona.
Yeah, so we didn't have satellites in the air yet politically.
Yeah,
but then later on they said no, actually we did. We tried to launch a spy satellite.
yeah. The US government was spying on the Russians with some satellites. Yeah.
So what was Project Corona? That was it.
They were trying to spy on the Russians by putting a satellite up there. I don't think it worked properly, and it
just made people think, "Hang on, what's that?"
Yeah.
So the first dozen or more Corona satellites were cloaked with disinformation as being part of a space tech development program called the Discoverer. So they started testing it. They launched one containing a camera in 1959, and so they seemed to have launched them up and then recover them a couple of weeks later successfully. So they kind of worked.
Yeah.
And then they were declassified in 1992.
How far up were they launching them? What was on the film when they were like, "Oh damn, it's just reminding us of our insignificance in the universe."
I'm not really sure.
Because isn't it a thing that it's also on a weird orbit? It's on like a polar orbit, which is hard to do.
Okay.
I think that was another thing that was weird about it.
The Corona, not the Black Knight?
The Black Knight.
Yeah, okay.
The Black Knight is on a polar orbit. And
yeah.
It's apparently really hard to put a satellite into a polar orbit. So it's weird that just a bit of space junk.
Well, it's buffeted by cosmic winds. It's buffeted.
So I couldn't find any evidence
that it was an alien.
I couldn't find any evidence that it was anything.
Yeah.
Like in terms of, other than that photo, which is very easily explained from multiple angles.
Yeah.
Then people trying to, work out what it could be, but then saying it's a, on a polar thing, like I don't know where people were getting this from.
Yeah. I did see that after Tesla got his 1, 2, 3, 4 message, which by the way, aliens is not. Surely, in Contact they send how to build an interdimensional teleportation device.
Yeah.
But to Tesla they're like, "Oh, let's start them off easy with 1, 2, 3, 4."
It was the start of that Sesame Street.
But
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And you got a cool animation with it. It's like, it's sick.
That's literally for children. Yeah. And these aliens are like, let's just start them easy.
Yeah.
But isn't that like the whole thing that like mathematics is universal? So send something that everyone's going to be able to comprehend.
Yeah.
And then we'll send him the message about Epsilon Boötis or whatever the fucking star system was.
But it's like, I know mathematics is universal, or I guess maybe it is. But surely like our Arabic mathematics is not universal. Wouldn't alien mathematics could be something completely different?
But I think regardless, if you have this...
So he's put one glass on a table.
If you have one glass and then you put another glass next to it...
It's now got two glasses on the table.
There's two glasses there. Regardless of what you call two, you can't... There's nothing that can say that that's not a glass and another glass.
Oh, I bet.
You can't go, there's one glass, there's another glass. Magically, there's another glass there. Or this becomes half a glass.
So, I think a lot of university students doing philosophy would argue with that.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yep, wankers.
I could argue with it.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Here we go.
Could I suggest that if you're of a civilization advanced enough to travel across the inky void.
And it's inky out there.
Yeah, it's very inky. Surely you've done away with the need for such small numbers as 1 and 2. You don't need them anymore. Are you thinking much larger?
You need to start with 1 and 2, though.
Yeah.
You just can't.
You can't assume that everyone's going to be able to go like, all right, let's send them the first number. 52,785,152,700,497,010.
That's the number I'd send. And if they can't get that number, I'd be like, we'll come back.
Yeah.
Bunch of dumbasses.
Yeah. Or if they can't get it, we'll go and take over their planet and take all their resources.
Yeah. Or, we'll just start having a look up there.
Oh, yeah.
See, is this why they don't get the number? Is there anything up there that has the answer?
How about we turn their cows inside out? See what happens then.
Apparently, these are the cow turner errors. So maybe they are in the 1s and 2s.
Yeah.
Apparently Tesla got the answers to AC power from a telepathic message after this.
Right.
Possibly an alien telepathic message.
Did he invent AC power?
Oh, he invented one of them, surely.
Yeah.
Didn't he invent a bunch of stuff and then other people stole it?
Yeah.
Hey, we should do a whole...
Like Donald Trump's grandfather.
Yeah.
We should do a whole episode on Tesla, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, other than Tesla, other than the space photos, what else did we find?
Well, there's been a few people that came out with sort of definitive proof, but they were all just UFO people.
Right.
Writing books and sometimes just fictional books.
Because people talk about a message, like Tesla got a message that he reckons the people reckon was from that, right? But other people have also said they've picked up messages that they think are from that. Like, did you get the whole Bewutus thing? So a guy called Duncan Loonan, who was a Scottish scientist. Do you think he made up his last name?
It sounds like a really Scottish name.
He deciphered the message that was being broadcast by the Black Knight satellite. He plotted a vertical axis of the transmitted pulse sequence with a horizontal axis of echo delay time, and as a result found a picture of the Epsilon Bootes. It's like Boötes star system. Or better said, it would look 50 or... So he found a picture of the star system that we know as Epsilon Boötes. But the picture that they're broadcasting is how the Epsilon Boötes system was in the sky 13,000 years ago. That's why they think it's been here that long.
Okay.
They sent it 13,000 years ago when the star system looked like this, and over that period of time it's changed because the universe is expanding. So that's how they theorized that.
Wait, is it... They sent a picture of how it looks from Earth?
Yeah.
But how did they know what it looked like from Earth 13,000 years ago?
Yeah.
Because
or is it...
they're fucking smart.
Or is it been here for 13,000 years?
It's been here for 13,000 years.
They took a picture 13,000 years ago. It's just been transmitting that to us. Didn't think to update the picture.
Yeah.
Well, I guess the light takes...
Yeah, they might not have... They might have just thought, they'll pick up on this pretty quickly.
It's 13,000 light years away though, right? Is that right?
Well, the system in the picture they decoded looks like the system would have looked 13,000 years ago.
All right. Okay. No, that does make sense. It does track.
Do you think, and apropos to it not updating, do you think they put the satellite there, left, and a little software we need an update, so it just stalled, and they're just going to come back one day and we
forgot the update.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense because if it's here now, the image... No, it doesn't make sense that it's 13,000 years old. It could have just shown up. Because if it's taking a photo of that star system now, the photo it's taking will be a 13,000-year-old photo because the light's taking that long to get here.
Yeah, light takes a very long time.
Well, it's not a photo. It's an image.
It's an image.
Yeah, they haven't gone, someone get out the Nikon, snap a photo of our star system, put the SD
Nikon
card in the Black Knight and send it over.
Look at those hovering stars.
Yeah. Anyway, he also decoded a message that went along with the image. And the message says...
Where did he get this image? Just onto his radio or something?
The signal that it's sending down to Earth.
It's pulsing down, mate.
Pulsing down. He ran it through a couple of modulators.
What?
And a clear message and an image came out of it.
And an attenuator?
Probably chucked an attenuator in.
Oh, you got to put an attenuator in. You're getting those alien signals.
Yeah. So, as you obviously weren't listening, Robbo, but he plotted a vertical axis of the transmitted pulse sequence.
You know, no, I get that part.
With a horizontal axis of echo delay time.
Okay.
Yeah, just doesn't understand it. Anyway, this is what the message says. Start here. Our home is Epsilon Boötis, which is a double star. We live on the 6th planet of 7. Check that, 6th of 7. Counting outwards from the sun, which is the larger of the two. Our 6th planet has 1 moon. Our 4th planet has 3. Our 1st and 3rd planets each have 1. Our probe is in the orbit of your moon. This updates the position of Arcturus shown on our maps. So it's not in the orbit of our moon, it's in the orbit of us.
Yeah.
But
close enough.
Could have been just a little mistranslation, or when they slingshotted it here, it might have caught the wrong gravitational pull.
Yeah.
And be going around us instead.
That's probably why it's on a polar orbit.
Yeah.
So where did he find the signal just bouncing around the air?
It pulsed.
Yeah, it's pulsing down.
Pulsing, mate.
Okay.
Don't try and robbo this, mate.
Well, I don't know if I trust this guy.
Why is that?
Well, his name's Duncan for a start. Duncan Lunan, spelled Lunan. It's almost close to Duncan, spelling wise. So
okay, sure, right.
Also, he's this fucking Scottish bloke in the 70s. He's making shit up. There we go, done.
Whoa,
Jesus Christ!
Jesus, thanks, David Duke.
Yeah, I don't know.
Never trust a Scotsman. That's bloody
Well,
Robbo fallacy.
Well, my last name's Robertson,
No true
so
Robbo.
I've got insight into the Scots.
Oh, it's okay for you to be racist against the Scots.
Yeah, I'm 1/5 Scot.
I'm more Scottish than you, so I say no, you can't.
Okay.
Have you heard of Giuliano Marconi?
I have not.
Don't get him bloody started, though.
The first Marquis of Marconi?
No.
If Robbo's got it in for the Scots, how do you think he's going to take this bloke?
He was an Italian inventor, an electrical engineer. So his field was long-distance radio transmissions.
Mm.
And he also intercepted signals originating from space a few years after Tesla.
Mm.
Researchers have since claimed that Tesla and Marconi intercepted the same signals. And then, 4 years before Sputnik was launched in 1953, the satellite was spotted by Dr. Lincoln La Paz of the University of New Mexico.
Oh.
So what was that, Robbo?
I don't know. I don't know.
Satellites up there besides the spies, obviously.
Yeah.
So what evidence do these blokes have?
Eyeballs.
Ooh, okay.
They've seen it with their own eyes, mate.
Pioneers in radio transmissions. I'd trust that they picked up some transmissions.
So
they'd know how to tune their little antennas.
So if there's all these people seeing it back then, with what I'm assuming comparative to now pretty rudimentary satellite telescopes, how come we're not seeing it a lot more now?
It's just cloaked, mate.
So it's learned cloaking recently.
Probably.
Finally got that update.
The update come through. The firmware updated as our technology advanced.
Yeah.
I guess, I don't know, I try not to be too skeptical. But, we've got all these blokes these days, and ladies.
Yeah. And gender unspecified.
All right. But you've got all these people mucking around with proper satellites, pointing them into space and being like, is that an alien?
Yeah.
And they get a transmission come through. They're like, oh, we've bloody got a live one. Oh, wait, it was just the microwave down the hallway.
Yes.
On our proper alien searching for satellite.
Yes. Happened to SETI. Famously happened to SETI.
Yeah. So maybe these jokers with their dodgy, home brand satellites might have been picking up a few microwave ovens.
Home brand radios, you mean?
Like back in the day, their satellites, they're not like pointing them properly at aliens.
Pointing their satellites
They're
at
probably
aliens?
picking up all sorts of things.
You mean the telescopes?
You can have a satellite on the Earth, mate. Or satellite telescope.
Okay. I don't think you can have a satellite on the Earth.
You can have a satellite.
A satellite is
you can
inherently...
have a satellite telescope.
Okay.
It's very common terminology.
Is it salty? Do you think? Okay.
There's like big fields of them.
Yeah, but they're not satellites.
Yeah, it's a satellite dish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a satellite.
No, but that's what they're commonly referred to as.
Yeah. They're receiving the satellite signals.
Don't rub on me. All right. If you robber me any further, I'll go back to how I was at the start of the podcast.
So all the things we know about radio is that just things just pinging around the world.
Yep.
Microwaves. You leave Tesla's got so many coils and stuff in his workshop.
Oh, yeah.
He's got free energy buzzing in one corner. One of those things, if you touch it and your hair stands on end.
Yep.
It's definitely got one of those. He plugs in something and goes, I'm listening to aliens. Who knows what he's picking up?
It's just his microwave pinging down with his breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1, ding!
Ding.
Oh, bloody alien message. That's convenient. I get to enjoy my burrito while I decode this.
His microwave would never have played a little tune like mine does.
Yours plays a tune?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
It's pretty cool.
Tesla also famously loved breakfast burritos.
Yeah.
Many people don't know that, so it's not that famous.
We invented them, right?
Yeah.
So, the Black Knight satellite.
Anything else about this?
I don't think so.
I
reckon something
like just finding more stuff about all the people who spotted it and the whole polar orbit thing. So, after Sputnik was launched, an object was seen shadowing Sputnik 1, and the polar orbit, maintaining a polar orbit was something that the US and the Russia weren't actually able to do at that time. So satellites would go in the same direction as the Earth and use the Earth's rotation to help keep its momentum. But I think polar orbit means it's doing the opposite. So the Earth's spinning one way, this is rotating around the Earth in the other direction.
Yeah.
And it's also, they reckon it weighs 15 tons.
Jeebus. What does a normal thing weigh? What does Sputnik weigh, for example? I'll look that up. Keep talking.
And it moves like twice as fast as any other man-made object in orbit.
It's just light, though. It's just a sleeping bag.
Is it, though?
It's going to move quicker than a rock.
A sleeping bag's not... No, mate. In space, there's no gravity. Everything moves at the same speed in a vacuum.
Yeah. Oh, but, it moves how fast you push it away. So if someone's, giving it a little push when they've lost their blankie...
They've been, standing outside in their spacesuits, and one of them gets his little blankie and twirls it up, ready to give his mate a little flick with it. Goes... But it slips out of his finger, and the whipping action causes such velocity that it flies off into polar orbit.
Yeah.
Fucking it's gonna some guy's gonna be going for a spacewalk one day. He got me. That one was 30 years in the mail.
Imagine the build-up of that.
It's fun to joke about, but you would do that in space, wouldn't you, Salty?
I probably would. I'm really good at it.
You spend years training to become an astronaut just so you can
just like a
whip
cow whip someone.
One of the things I found learning about this was astronauts lose a lot of stuff in space.
Yeah.
Pretty frequently. Which it seemed a little bit concerning to me.
Seems careless.
Yeah.
Wasn't there tens of thousands of bits of space junk floating around?
Yeah, it's a real problem.
Yeah.
I think it's an actual... And I think I will talk about that in the next segment a little bit.
Whoa. Taxi.
So how heavy was the thing they estimated? 12 ton or
15
something?
tons.
15 ton. So Sputnik was only 83 kilo.
Yeah, right.
But
jeez.
This is a fucking big thing, man.
Heavy blanket.
The International Space Station, 450 tons.
Oh.
That's a lot of tons.
Yeah. You know what spins me out? Whenever you hear about how high the space station is,
it
doesn't seem high enough to me.
Yeah.
It's only
1 kilometer up.
It's not very high in the air.
So for the next segment, and I didn't find anything relevant, but I went to look at Russian vids. I thought Russian vids is going to have some good gear on this. Our old friend Russian vids, and he didn't have anything about Oumuamua.
Well, I would hope not, because he doesn't even believe in space, so he's certainly not going to believe in outer space.
Yeah, but he'd have something to debunk it.
All right, yeah. Sure.
But one of the things I clicked on, I was like, I can't go into Russian vids channel and not watch some good Russian vids gear.
Is he still putting gear up?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
But he was doing Steve O and Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was on the Steve O show. Oh, sorry. Steve O was on the Joe Rogan show. He called him Steve O, which was really funny. I don't know why. But so Steve O was saying he went on a fighter jet, one of the ones that goes right on the edge of space.
Oh, yeah.
And he says the difference between that and like that and a commercial airliner is like 5,000 feet,
Right.
kind of a thing. So like you're really close when you're in a commercial airline. It's just that extra 5,000 feet space.
Yeah.
So like to be ISS, it's really not that high. It's pretty crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah. All these like people hijacking jets for nefarious means. Could we not just hijack one and just point it up a little bit?
Go up to space?
No, because I think they
edit that out.
No, because I think they lose something. They lose pressure, or they lose their wings. Can't
probably don't want to scrape the top of the jet on the
because of the way
dome.
the air has to go over the wings to keep the plane in the air. Once there's no air,
just go straight down
a
again.
rock.
That's a shame.
So rockets have to go straight up to get out of the atmosphere, right? Because if they tried to fly out in a trajectory that wasn't straight up, would. I don't know.
Yeah, science facts.
Yeah.
I guess the one other thing I saw about this is, on YouTube,
I've heard of it.
NASA does like live streams from their satellites.
Yep.
There's a bunch of people who say that any time that the Black Knight shows up on the stream, they cut the feed.
Ah.
Oh yeah, I did see I've seen in the past people watching those NASA streams, and like they're streaming from space. It's going to glitch. And then every time there's, they cut the feed. What are they hiding?
Yeah. But it's like, so the idea is that you see the thing on the screen and they're like, cut. No, put it on a delay, NASA. If you're covering up a 13,000-year-old satellite.
Yeah. You'd think they'd know where it's going to be as well.
Yeah.
And just pre-build in the cuts.
Well, one of the people who kept spotting it said that it's actually very hard to predict where it's going to be.
Almost like it's a blanket floating around.
No, well, that's a stationary thing. That would be really like clockwork. There's an alien probe looking around.
I think it's just darting around.
Yeah. Darting around like some huge grey eyes. Shall we come back with some Oumuamua?
Oumuamua?
Sure.
Do, 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 do.
From beyond the solar system comes something.
Yeah. What's the word for that?
Interstellar.
Interstellar. So
that's the name of a movie too, right?
Yeah.
I haven't seen
Matthew
that.
McConaughey.
I enjoyed it. Yeah. So
he travels through time.
Yeah.
You know what he says? The best thing about traveling through time is anyway.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So on October 19th, 2017, NASA and I don't know, other space dorks looked out and they saw this object just careening through the sky, and they're just like, "Wow, that's something new."
Yeah, it was zipping past the sun when they noticed it, right?
Yep. 15 million miles away from Earth.
Yep.
And they're like, "That's something new. We don't know what that is.
Yep.
Bit close.
Yep.
This is we didn't really see this. 15 million miles while."
That's not reassuring in the slightest.
Well, this is one of the problems with it. They're like, this thing just kind of appeared, moving really fast.
Is the idea that they've got sort of an idea of what's going on in the solar system?
I think for most nearish distance things, they have an idea of their orbits, right?
Yeah. So this is the first thing. I guess this is the first thing to come that we've ever observed that came
from outside the solar
out of the solar system.
So we're all like, they're all just watching all the other things moving around in the circles and the orbits. Oh, yeah. And this thing just appears careening through at a different angle.
Yeah.
They've got it so locked down that they've got time to just delete planets.
Yeah. Yeah, they're getting bored. So I don't know, you'll get rid of this one, see what happens.
Yeah. We've got to update all of the planet maps.
Yeah.
Who's going to update the Black Knights one? It's their piece of tech. They can deal with it.
So we're all just watching, the galaxy, the solar system just swing on by, and then boomfa, out of nowhere, something from a new thing. just flies through at a different angle. No one was ready for it. And they're like, oh, that's pretty cool. What is it? After, and like really close, 3 days later, they realized that, definitely not from our solar system. They had like another week to observe it before it was gone again. As they were watching it.
Where'd it go?
Wow.
Just back out of the solar system.
Wow.
Gone.
As they were watching it, they're like, oh, it must be a asteroid because it's just kind of a dumb rock flying through, right?
Yeah, what an idiot.
Whereas comets actually kind of fling around using gravitational pull a little bit. And so they're like, oh, definitely an asteroid. It's just flying through. It's reflecting like an asteroid. They can see heat, whatever, and all the dust and all that stuff. All that nerdy shit that they know.
Yeah.
And then suddenly, just before it leaves the solar system, it accelerates out of the solar system on a little curve.
Does a slingshot basically off the sun, right?
Yeah.
Like bloody in Star Trek.
And so they're like, so I think comets are quite often expelling gases.
Yeah.
One of the things I watched this, I swear they were making a fart joke. They made it look like a bum. But then the rest of the video was really sincere. It's like expelling gases. I'm like, this is a big fart joke. But they were sincere.
That's as comets come closer to like stars, right? The gases start to evaporate and expel.
Yeah. So this one, it behaved like an asteroid in every sense, and then suddenly
started commenting it up.
Yep. Yeah. A couple of other things about it. It was kind of long and cigar shaped, they think, or they think it might have been a flat disc, like an oval shape.
But it was much longer than it was wide, right?
Yeah.
And they observed that by how they can see it and they can't see it, like the way it reflects the light.
Yeah.
The funniest thing is when they explain that in a lot of videos that they don't know actually what it looks like. They just roughly know the shape of it. But then you have all people going, oh, look at that fucking stupid photo of it. It's like, you fucking idiots.
It's just a drawing.
It's an artist's impression. They're all artist's impressions.
I did see the speed it was traveling, 88 kilometers per second.
Whoa.
Time travel.
Yep. Our number also.
But I also just looked it up then, and other people saying it wasn't 88, it was 26. So I don't know, whatever.
Plus it's 88 miles an hour. So
yeah,
it doesn't matter. That's not quibble, Robbo.
One of the other curious things about it wasn't, most things that you're flying through space are kind of spinning around, in that classic circular movement. This was spinning around kind of, but also wobbling up and down and flipping on its end kind of thing. So it's just like, so they're like, it's a huge thing. I don't write down how big it was, but it's huge, big. And then just like it, for that, something of that size to not have a stable flight, not to be spinning around, just come out of nowhere.
Yeah. From memory, it was like about the size of a football stadium long, something like that.
And then just shoot off again. That's it. That's all they know.
Yeah.
But let's not let only knowing a little bit stop us. What do people say it really is?
Well, a lot of people are saying it's a solar sail, which is just basically a spaceship traveling through, so a probe, and it was pretending to be a rock, just hovering around, floating, sorry, floating through, flying through, and then all right, we've checked out Earth. They don't suspect a thing.
Yeah,
shoot your little and get out of here before they cotton on.
Yeah, we massively cottoned on though.
Yeah.
I think some of it probably didn't help matters that it was a bunch of like Harvard scientists were like, it could be a spaceship.
Yeah, I think a couple of weeks ago, Harvard came out and said, well, we've observed it, and they said it. I think it could be not. I think one of the things that people latched onto was it was not of our solar system, and then Harvard said it could potentially be.
And by Harvard, we mean just some people at Harvard.
Yeah, it's on an official Harvard statement.
Yeah, this nerd space club.
Yeah, and a lot of the videos I watched there's a good TED talk about it. Did you watch that?
No, I kept meaning to.
Fantastic. But and a lot of these other videos I watched were space people and people from NASA going, if this was an alien, we wouldn't be covering it up. We would be pumped. Like, we have been so excited by this. This was like the most exciting thing to ever happen to us.
Especially as NASA, the government agency best suited to benefit from
Yeah.
there being an alien.
We'd have funding for years.
Yeah.
But
excuse me, just gonna go pick up my Lambo.
So they're like, this thing just appears, it crashes through and disappears. What the hell? So I guess the conspiracy side of this, I tried to find some conspiracy gear, some good stuff. Didn't really find much, but the actual story was really interesting.
You liked a bit of science.
I got bloody science nerd.
pilled.
Yeah, science nerd pilled. Now I'm all about science.
I saw Neil deGrasse Tyson talking about it, saying that he reckons if it's probably just a meteor. He said meteorites are usually just like a big clump of debris that's traveling, because it's come from interstellar space and traveling quite fast. It's probably just elongated because of how fast it's been traveling.
Yes.
And that's why it looks weird. That's why it kind of comes up differently.
Was that on Colbert?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And Colbert was like, "It's an alien!"
Yeah. Got a bit silly, that one.
Yeah.
It's a bit much. I wanted the hardcore science.
Yeah, Robbo was TED talking it up.
I did watch a video where I think I got an idea of where they were coming from very quickly when they referred to so-called space.
Oh, yeah.
But they referred to the part in the Bible that says there's nothing new under the sun.
Is that a Bible thing?
I think it comes from a Bible thing.
That's pretty cool.
But basically, the fact that they're saying that there's something new is a big bloody hint that it's not a little bit of rock. It's Satan testing us.
Ooh.
Or the Masonic Illuminati NASA propaganda setting us up for something.
Because the propaganda that if you're a NASA, you'd put out is like the actual footage of it from the satellites is just this tiny blip, like really fuzzy, which is cool to look at, but not as cool as the artist renditions of it. I'm sure that's how the Illuminati would do it. Just a tiny blip.
Well, one of the things that has come up a few times recently, we haven't talked about space stuff for a while, but I'm sure we've mentioned this before. The idea that the government is going to use aliens as some sort of cover. Like, there's one school of thought that says full disclosure is imminent, that the US government is going to have to come clean about the aliens. But then I think the other school of thought is probably a bit more biblical, which is that they will, there's a non-religious version, but the government will disclose that there are aliens either to cover up a demonic invasion or as some sort of pretext for stripping us of our civil liberties completely.
The other edge of that is used to create a one world government.
Yeah.
The New World Order. So that's
so
false flagged. So we all have to team together like an Independence Day to take down, band together as a nation, as a universe. As an Earth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the whole world will have to come together.
But like these people that believe that are so, I guess people as a whole are pretty gullible, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't need to play the long con by doing.
You don't need to do a big alien thing,
but like if this is an example of it, they wouldn't start with a tiny blip. All right, we'll do that one first, and then we'll slowly condition them over 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. You just send up a hologram into the sky and go, "Oh look, everybody panic!"
Are you saying this is what the one world government should actually do?
Yeah, that's how you do it. You wouldn't start off with a long con, a blip in outer reaches of space.
So you think the world's got more chance of banding together as one world if it's instant panic, we need to do something now rather than over a few years going, you know what would be good if we would just all come together and be fucking one world
because
at peace.
They're going to get impatient soon. We're going to be all cooked by global warming before they get to the end of their goal. So they've got to do it now.
Do you not think if they suddenly showed up in the sky and everyone went, panic, like every country's just going to fire all their weapons into the sky at once?
I really hope not. I don't think so. They didn't on Independence Day.
Everyone's going to shoot their nukes into space, except Russia, who's just going to go, and you're all fucked now. Where's your mutually assured destruction now, motherfuckers?
So I did see people saying that it was interesting that this thing was happening at the same time as Trump had announced Space Force.
Yeah. Which isn't true at all.
Okay.
This thing was first observed in October 2017.
Yeah, when did Space Force first show up?
June 2018. So it's in the same, like, in the greater scheme of history, sure. In the greater scheme of current politics, where it's a madhouse from day to day, it's 10 years ago.
Right.
Yeah. Also, was Space Force supposed to be part of the military? Is that there was supposed to be their domination over space, right? US domination of space.
So I watched the full Space Force speech last night.
Did you?
13 minutes worth of Donald Trump. It was one of the ones where he's kind of losing his teeth.
Yeah.
Which is always funny to watch. It's also one where he's reading off a screen, off a teleprompter.
Oh, that's low T. And
then he goes ad lib for a bit.
Oh, good.
So he talks
That's
about
high T.
So basically, they talk about Space Force.
He's not a teleprompter cuck.
No, and they're going to use it to regulate space and all that debris we talked about in the previous segment. The big part of it that I think people kind of the mention of Space Force kind of distracted people from the fact that he kind of wants to build a Trump hotel on the moon. So the main point of the speech was we're going to build a base on the moon. And everyone's going to have to use it if they want to go to Mars, because we can mine water on the moon now. They've worked that out. And then you can use that to add. So it's a little base you can launch off to Mars.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, everyone's going to want to stay there. So if we get in first and build it, then we're going to have a moon base and it's going to be good for our economy and good for jobs.
Yeah.
It's quite funny. He was talking about it and then he just started saying economy and jobs. And you're like, what are you saying? But anyway, he said Pence is going to regulate it. And he's like, it's going to be really well regulated. We're going to regulate it well. And then he realizes that regulation is probably pretty bad for people like him.
Yeah.
So he goes off script there, and he's like, not too much though, eh? Not going to regulate it too much. We'll cut back some of those regulations.
Like, we don't even have space regulations yet. And you're already cutting them.
Yeah. He was like, you could see that thought in his mind. Like, hang on, that's going to be bad for me and my private business cronies. Yeah, that was about it. So basically a Trump tower on the moon. He's going to use this, Neil
deGrasse Tyson was saying it makes sense because before there was an Air Force, everything to do with planes was handled by the Army.
Mm.
And when it became a point where planes were a thing and a necessary part of the military or whatever, they started the Air Force because it needed to be looked after by a body.
Yeah.
Mm.
So now that there's a lot more stuff in space, like there's 50 million bits of space shit floating around in space and everyone has satellites up and different countries have different satellites, it makes sense that the next evolution of a military branch would be to look after what we have in space.
Mm.
But then he also talked about the fact that there are like these space like rules that are in place that are like, you have to use space, the space around the Earth you have to use in a peaceful manner. If there's an astronaut in trouble, regardless of where they're from, and someone else is in space, they have to help them out. Like there is like a one space government.
Yeah.
Or sort of like rules that govern that in space, country borders don't matter. Let's just everyone has to make sure that everyone else is safe.
So if you're in a dogfight, say in the movie Top Gun, you're getting shot, you run out of guns, jump up a few thousand feet.
You can't do that.
You can't do that. You can't go into space in your jet. We talked about that earlier.
But then you'll get in trouble. And, I'm in trouble in space because I'm going to have to crash, and then you'll eject, and then they'll have to save you. Space rules.
But you won't. You'll get close to space, your plane will fall down.
Yeah, and then you eject.
Then you just kick your engines back in.
Oh, okay.
How is it that there are more rules in space than there are in the ocean?
Yeah, well, and he basically said, how come we can all live together peacefully in space, but we can't do that here?
Well, I mean, there's only like 10 people in space.
Yeah, but it's a big area.
Yeah.
But we've got another big area called the ocean, where I think the problem with down here is they're like, we've got all this space that's like too far away from everywhere. Anything goes.
Yeah.
They should have been like, everyone's got to help everyone out.
Yeah.
No murders allowed on the ocean.
And
then you wouldn't have this thing where everyone's like, I want to murder someone. What do? Go 30 miles from the shore?
Then you get like Russia going under the Arctic, trying to like claim land. It's like not theirs.
So there is the UNOOSA, Office of Outer Space Affairs.
Right.
So I think that's the kind of thing they handle.
Yeah.
So But yeah, you're right. It is another branch of the military, and it does make sense to if you are super into war.
Because the other thing is also, he said, like, the technology's there now where China are like going up into space with rockets and dismantling their satellites in orbit, or like changing them or scrapping them and making them crash. And it's like, well, if they can just go up there and do that to theirs, anyone could really go up and do that to anyone's.
Yeah. What if they went up there and they bloody slotted some deep fakes into your Snapchat feed?
That's probably what Robbo's dealing with right now.
What I like about Trump's moon base is that he's such a like small time con man that he's even just trying to run one of his tiny little hotel cons on the moon.
Well, that's what it is. Like, you can just see it now. Like, it's going to end up being Trump Moon Tower.
It's just, you know how he charges the Secret Service to stay at his house?
Yeah.
It's just that, but in space.
Yeah. That's all he can do.
Do you think he was...
I don't know, property? We'll do that somewhere.
He just spun that Arctic Monkeys album, that new one about a hotel on the moon. And he's like, that's a great idea. No one knows this little band, right?
There's a funny bit in that where he talks about one of the generals that's going to be looking after it as well. He's like, we've got General so-and-so here. Where is he? He just does a full 360 around looking for him. And he's like he starts turning right the whole way, he gets back, and he's like, oh, he's over there behind him. And he goes like, good on you, doing us proud. And he goes, well, fist bump there. This guy's I know we all know it, but man, you just sit down and watch one of those speeches and he's like, yeah, you are all over the shop. He also talks about, he says, as rich guys, we really love rockets. Don't we? As rich guys, we love rockets.
What? Elon Musk?
Yeah.
And him?
Yeah. And
Branson.
Branson, I suppose.
Jeff Bezos wants to get in on it.
Right.
So rich guys love rockets. So what we're going to do, Trump Tower on the moon.
I did see one of the news reports in one of these cooked videos I watched. They had like a bunch of news things about the Space Force and stuff. And the news anchor's like, when you think about going into space, you think about private companies. It's like, no, I think about NASA.
Yeah.
But like, it looks like the government's looking to get into the space business. It's like, they're famously, we're always in the space business. We had a space race.
Yeah. Politically.
I watched another thing. A guy called Gary McKinnon. He's a systems admin that got caught hacking into NASA.
Right.
And he was interviewed. So he got caught and he got tried recently.
Is he the British guy?
Yeah, Scottish.
Yeah.
John Ronson interviewed him for, I think, an article in The Guardian, I think it was. Really interesting, because what he found was non-terrestrial officers being mentioned in a list of names in NASA, and he's like, he thinks that they're secret space people.
Yeah.
So he says we've already got a space force.
Right.
And these non-terrestrial officers are part of it.
Well, what are they then if they're not?
Well, I think they're just people that are in space on the International Space Station.
Because he does think they're aliens.
Yeah. No, he does. I think he says it's not aliens, but it's people out there keeping us safe from aliens.
All right.
He also talks about... never mind. Yeah, he talks about a lot of... He talks about stuff that he also found in the NASA hacks, but none of it is like evidence of anything. It's, things like that could be interpreted a number of ways.
Right. Mm-hmm. You know what annoys me? Can we not pick a better name than Space Force? It's not really that exciting.
What would you call it?
Well, I don't know, but what's going to happen is they're going to go Space Force, and then Russia's going to start theirs, and it's going to be called something so much cooler.
Spetsnaz.
It's going to be called something awesome. Like astronaut, cosmonaut. Cosmonaut is such a better word.
Yeah. And yeah, this whole thing that, it's the next evolution of the military. It's like, we have the Air Force, so now we have Space Force. Well, no, because we've got the Army and the Navy. They don't sound anything like... There's no forces in that.
No.
Come on with a better
armed
name.
Forces.
Army's short for armed forces, and Navy's short for naval forces. So we need to just call them Spaceys.
Spaceys.
All right. Space Forces sound a little bit better.
What are they called in Starship Troopers?
Is it in the name of the movie?
No,
Called
Okay.
stuff.
it's called something.
I think it's called grunts or something. Because the wider.
Fuck, I can't remember. I'll look it up. But it would be funny to like if they called them that, because that movie's like just a whole massive like.
Yeah, it'd be quite on point with the current rise of fascism.
Yeah.
I watched. Do you remember the YouTuber Secure Team? Maybe it used to be Secure Team 10. It's just one of the cooked ones. When I couldn't find Russian vids, I was glad that I found this one. But he was talking about that we have, there's the black budget, the super secret black budget. Well, they also have a super secret black budget that no one even knows about.
Not even the people who are allowed to know about the black budget know about this budget.
And he's got many insiders there that says, yep, we definitely have aliens. Definitely. And he reads it as a quote. He's like, my insiders say this to me. Yes, we have aliens. Well, I don't think you're quoting anyone here.
No. In fairness, they did have a black budget alien investigation team that was paid for by the Pentagon.
Yes.
There wasn't a black budget. They were just like, let's not write aliens on the invoice.
Yeah.
It's called the Federation Army.
Okay.
We need to combine. We need to come together as a planet first.
Yeah.
Before we lose Buenos Aires. Those goddamn bugs.
All right. Anything else to add about Oumuamua? What have we said again? Oumuamua.
What did it mean? It had a
scout.
name. Yes, scout.
Yeah, I wrote the full definition.
Or like
here.
messenger.
Yeah.
Messenger from beyond.
Scout or messenger from the distant past reaching out to us. So
they're just asking for it, aren't they?
A couple of other cool things I found out about this. I watched an interview with a NASA guy, and he reckons while we don't have the technology now to chase these things down and find out what they actually are, he said in about a decade we're going to be able to. So if this happens again in 10 years, just a thing comes crashing through our thing, they can send out a little thing, a little whatever,
like a
probe to get it, and then send information back. And so they're doing that. Like that's a thing they do now. If there's an asteroid cruising past and they think they can get to it, like Japan or someone will send out a probe and send all the details back.
They did that recently, right? The Rosetta thing?
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Like that's just sending shit out. And when I was watching all the NASA and the TED Talk and the talk of the, being able to chase things down, it made me realize the stark difference between cooked YouTube just looking at things and going, what is it? It's aliens, versus how knowledgeable and excited and passionate and interesting and how much evidence they have for these cool little things they're finding. Like that TED Talk just blew me away with how interesting it was.
I'll have to watch it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this episode has been brought to you by Bic Pocket Protectors. These fucking nerds.
Nerd jokes. I did
slammed all the nerds of the world.
I did have a huge, and I'm still blown away by just I can't comprehend that we know how everything moves in our solar system, and then something just appears. It's like if we were sitting right here now, something came through the floor and just shot off into space.
Yeah,
you're like, what the hell?
That's when I think about stuff like that for too long, I get really freaked out because I'm like, we have no idea, and we're just sitting here on the fucking Earth.
Yeah,
and there's shit flying around.
We're sitting ducks.
We could just get fucked at any time.
Yeah, and that was the big. We only saw it when it was there.
Yeah,
crap. It come from a completely different direction. We didn't even know that direction existed. We kind of did, but nothing had ever come from that direction before.
Yeah,
and then suddenly it does.
Oh, I think is it the Voyager 1 satellite has reached interstellar space now?
Oh, maybe
a few years ago. I think I got really fucking jazzed by that when it was in the news.
Yeah,
because then it started freaking me out. Because it also was freaking me out because it still sends data back.
Yeah.
It was launched however many decades ago, and it had like a little nuclear power battery in it or something, and it still just pings back data.
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, how the fuck do they do that?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And one day we're going to get a message. Thanks for the nudes.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Someone's going to take the record off and go, what are we supposed to do with this? Has anyone still got a vinyl player?
If only they'd send us just some simple numbers.
Yeah. They've already gone through having vinyl and then it coming back a couple of decades later and everyone being into records again, and now it's gone again.
Maybe them getting that record will spark the vinyl resurgence.
Yeah.
Vinyl, cool again? Question mark will be the news that day. Super limited edition.
Yeah.
Bloody
Alright.
Earth nudes on a vinyl.
If people want to find our nudes online, Robbo, where can they do that?
You can get mine at lukenudes.tum. Wait a minute. Hypotheticalinstitute.com.
Yep.
Cookedunits.com for our merch page at Redbubble. Salty's in the works of some sick stuff at the moment, I believe.
Yeah, I was going to have it done by last week, but I haven't.
Okay, you didn't just say in the works.
Yeah, in the works.
Yep. And you can find us on Twitter at Hypothepod, Facebook at Hypothetical Institute, and where do people find you, Cam?
They can find me at Sexenheimer on Twitter. Gather around me on Facebook and iTunes for my other podcast.
You can get me at Ale of Time, aleoftime.com, keg, bottle, can is in bookshops if you want to read about beer or give someone the gift of beer for Christmas.
Should do that.
Well, not the gift of beer, just the gift of a book.
The gift of a book about
Yeah, the gift of beer knowledge.
Well, if you could buy the beer, you could buy the book for yourself and then read what all the beers are about and go, that beer sounds perfect for Uncle Larry.
Uncle Larry loves a dinner party.
I'll get him some of those.
Yeah.
I won't give him the book because I want to be able to find out who else I can buy beer for.
Yeah. I want to have a handy reference for all things beer.
Yeah. You can get me at Saltmarsh on Instagram and Twitter. Instagram for art stuff and Andrew Saltmarsh Illustration on Facebook. Check out Toe Hider on Patreon. And like I always say, the only good bug is a dead bug.
Yeah. Although, you could also say, check out your Society 6 page for some sweet Christmas cards.
Yeah, you could do that as well.
Yeah.
Check out my Society 6 page for some sweet Christmas cards, some alt Christmas cards.
All right.
Anti-festive.
All right.
And you know what I always say?
What do you always say, Salty?
The only good bug
is a dead bug.
Don't worry about a thing, except if all our world leaders are alien reptilians. I said don't worry about a thing, except maybe the fluoride in our water supply contains mind-altering drugs. Don't worry about a thing, except whether or not Port Arthur was a false flag operation in which to disarm Australia. I said don't worry about a thing. I accept you can definitely hear John Lennon say I buried Paul at the end of Strawberry Fields forever. Ooh, don't worry about a thing, except not only did Bush do 9/11, but he also keeps the planes out in Area 51, which, let's not forget where all of the aliens are. Don't worry about a thing, except Donald Trump is clearly a woman and you're just blind if you can't see that. Why don't you